Today we're going to do something that could be separated into two different things or put together. So you can use this as, like I say, two individual things all together. So the first thing we're going to start with is some shortbread rounds, which are shortbread biscuits, but we're also going to make some meringues so we can make it an Eton mess on its own. So we'd have shortbread rounds and Eton mess, or we can put them together to make a really nice dessert that tastes really lovely, especially for the summer. So I'm going to take you through what we're going to do for the shortbread rounds, and then later on we'll make the meringue for the Eton mess as well. Okay, so I'm going to talk you through our ingredients very quickly first of all. So we have some plain flour, so that's 325 grams minus a little bit I've just knocked out. We have 200 grams of chilled butter. We also have 125 grams of caster sugar in there. We have some vanilla essence or extract, depending on what you've got in your cupboard. We've got 2 large egg yolks. Now, I've just got the yolks in there, you can just about see it. But please do keep the whites. So we've got the egg white, we've separated the two. Now, there are different ways of doing that, either using the shell itself or just putting the yolk on your hand and letting all the egg white drip through. I think I did that in a previous version of this. I've also got some cling film. We're not going to bake it straight away. We need to chill it once we've created it. So let's get on and see what we're going to do. So for my mixer, I've just got this paddle today because we are going to do some crumbing first of all, some bread crumbing. So that means we're going to put the flour in, all of our plain flour in, first of all. And then we're going to put in our butter. Now, the best thing to do with the butter, if we're putting it in, is to just get a normal butter knife. And we want to put the butter in into sort of small cubey bits. So don't put in big lumps. Just quickly, as you go through, just make smaller bits. Don't need to be perfect cubes. It's just basically getting smaller bits in there so that it will mix through the flour evenly and we come up with that breadcrumb consistency again. And that is so that we get this nice fluffy mixture. And it's nice and buttery. So shortbread biscuits are really nice just on their own. You can eat them just on their own. But what we're going to be looking at is making a mixture with something called Eton mess. Now, Eton mess is a mixture of strawberries or any berries, strawberries, raspberries, normally strawberries, and cream and meringue. So we're going to have a go at making a meringue. Okay, so like I said, first thing we're going to do is crumb those together. So just put them together. And what I will show you in a second is an example of where it looks like breadcrumbs. So we'll have a look at that. Okay, so once you've reached your breadcrumb consistency, we're going to put the other ingredients into our bowl. So that's the sugar, the vanilla essence, and the eggs. The egg yolks, sorry. So we just put the egg yolks in as well. Put the sugar in. And then it's just 2 tablespoons as well of the vanilla. And then we're just going to whiz all that together as well. Okay, so that's going to make our dough for our shortbread biscuit. So it should start to come together. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to use our hands to roll it into a sort of a sausage shape, a long sausage shape. So once that's all come together, it'll look a bit like this. Now you don't have to use a mixer for this. You can easily use your hands and just mix it by hand. It's not a really tough recipe to do that with. Okay, so we've got our mixture all together. Now we don't want to cook this straight away because we want it to be chilled in order to get the best biscuit out of it. Nice crunchy sort of crumbly biscuit. And to make it so we can work with it a bit later. So we're actually going to have to chill this for a little bit in the fridge. So what we're going to do is we're going to roll it just by hand. Just roll it into a sausage shape. So that, what we aim to do later when we come to it, is to be able to cut it straight into our shortbread biscuits. So what we will do is we're going to wrap it in some cling film, put it in the fridge for at least an hour. I would say at least an hour. You can freeze this now if you wanted to. If you didn't want to, if you wanted to make extra and freeze it so that you can do, and that will be, you can freeze that for up to 6 weeks. But we're going to just put it in some cling film and put it in our fridge for at least an hour, and that will chill that butter right down again. And then when an hour's gone, what we'll do is we will preheat our oven, and then we will cut our biscuits. So that's what we should end up with, something looking like that, and that goes straight into the fridge for like an hour at least. If you want it in there a bit longer, that's fine. Not going to do anything except for get very chilled. Okay, so next what we're going to do is have a go at making our meringue. So that will go with our shortbread biscuits and make that lovely dessert. It's a lovely summery dessert. Okay, so now we've got our shortbread biscuits ready and they're chilling in the fridge. We're going to start making our meringue. So I have preheated my oven to 100 degrees. That's a fan assisted oven. If it's not fan assisted, 120 degrees. That's going to be left running while I quickly make the meringue. Best advice I can give you for making meringue: make sure your bowl is completely clean, doesn't have any little bits in it, any little bits of sort of leftover anything, and the whisk is completely clean, no bits of flour left on it or anything like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to whisk up the egg whites that we had left over. So that's 2 egg whites, and then we've got 125 grams of caster sugar. So we're going to whisk up the eggs until we've got some what we call peaks in it, and I'll show you what they look like. And then we're going to slowly add the sugar in 3 different lots, and then we're going to put it onto this baking tray, which I've got and sort of a parchment bit on, so parchment paper will be fine. I've just got one of these rubber ones. And then it goes in the oven for a very long time. It's like over an hour and 15 minutes roughly. And then it needs to be left to dry out as well afterwards, because we're going to be using that meringue to crumble up with some cream and some strawberries to make that Eton mess. And then we're going to combine it with our shortbread biscuits as well. So let's get on. So we're going to, like I said, we're going to start by putting our 2 egg whites that we had left over into our very nice clean pan, and then we've got a whisk attachment onto it, so we're whisking. Again, you can do this by hand, but it would probably take a long time. So I'm going to stop here, filming here because it's very loud, and what I'll do is I'll show you what it looks like inside as well. Okay, so I've mixed in all of the sugar into my eggs, so I've got some lovely soft peaks now. Let's take off the excess. You can see how much it stays in position. It just does not want to move. That's exactly what we want with our meringue. So we just tap that off, put that to one side. Okay, so now what we do is we put it onto our baking sheet. So we're just going to dollop it onto our baking sheet that we've got here. So again, we don't need to be too perfect about this, it doesn't need to be in any particular way. And this is going to go into the oven on a, like I say, 100 degrees, and it is going to make our meringue that we are going to break up for our Eton mess. So again, you can see it's much different in its consistency now. It's much firmer, obviously, than when we put the egg whites in. And then what we're going to do once we've got it all ready is we're going to get some strawberries. If you've got some strawberries, if you haven't got strawberries, really any berries, any fruit can work. I've seen lots of people do lots of different kinds of versions of Eton mess where they've used tin fruits as well, so if you can't get... Okay, so there we have it. That's what our meringue looks like. So that's going to go into the oven for an hour and a half. You're sort of going to have to look at it and see what it looks like. We want it to slowly cook, so we don't want it going brown. We want to keep it nice and pale, and because we're going to, like I say, we're going to sort of crumble it up. So once it's come out of the oven, we're also going to leave it just to sort of dry out as well. We don't want to use it straight away, so you do need to make this quite a bit in advance of if you want to actually make it. You see that it doesn't not move at all. So that's what our meringue should look like. And like I was saying, you can use lots of different fruits on this. You can use, I've seen people do it with pineapple, with mango, so tin fruit is great, fresh fruit is great. Just depends on what you've got available, or even if you just like a bit of meringue. So yeah, hopefully it will be, we'll see it in a bit, and we'll see what we can make as our final product once we've made our biscuits and cooked them up as well. Okay, so I've finished my meringue, so that's all nice and crispy. I did just break it up as it was cooking so that it would really dry out, and I've got some nice dry bits there. And I've taken my shortbread biscuit dough out of the fridge. So all I'm going to do now is cut that up into about 5mm sections. I'll put my knife into the flour just so it doesn't get sticky as I'm cutting it up. I've preheated my oven as well at this point to 160 degrees, and they're going to go in for about 20 minutes. So this is the sort of size that I'm going to make my little biscuits. So I'll just section those off on the baking parchment and cook them for 20 minutes, and then we'll see what they look like once they're done. Okay, so we're getting to finish off the Eton mess now. So what I've got is, I've got some strawberries there, 148 grams. I've got about 50 grams of strawberries in here, and I've also put it with just about a tablespoon of icing sugar. So we're going to just zoom that together, and that is going to make our sauce. I've also got around 150 millilitres of cream, whipping cream in here, and we're going to whip that together. Chopped up my strawberries. I've also got my meringue over here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to take my meringue and I'm just going to crumble some bits into my cream. Now some of the centres might be still a bit squidgy, but that's completely fine. So we just put a little bit of that in. We're not going to mix it with the mixer anymore, so it looks like that. And then we're going to take some of our strawberries, you'll notice I've chopped them but quite small, and we're going to mix them in, and we can... Okay, so you can see I've got my ingredients here. I've got my shortbreads, they're all cooked, and I've put a bit of icing sugar on one side. So all we're going to do is just take a spoonful of our Eton mess and just put onto one of our rounds. And then what we can do is get a bit of our sauce that we made as well, and we can just drizzle a bit of sauce on the top. And then the next idea is that we get another one of our rounds and just smush it on the top, and we get a lovely sandwich, sort of like an Eton mess sandwich. Now you can do that as many layers as you want. You just keep it like that, or you could sort of keep going and putting them on top. But that is a lovely, delicious, summery dessert. Just put a little bit on top if you wanted. And it tastes really yummy, and hopefully it's lovely for the summer. Or you can just eat the Eton mess on its own, or you can just have the shortbread biscuits on its own. It's completely up to you.